Welcome, everybody. This is Practicing Tactical Solidarities. I'm Rachael Rakes, the Curator of Public Practice at BAC. This event comes out of remobilization of some of BAC's programming efforts in light of the current crisis. Rather than attempting to modulate our pre-existing programs online, we've been thinking about how to shift the research and resources we have towards active response and in support of coordinated grassroots and creative efforts around us, whether in the forms of organizing, strikes, and redistributions of time, labor, and goods. Towards that notion, we've developed a new digital forum entitled Perspectives, which merges previous BAC research and enlists ongoing collaborations to think practically and speculatively however we can, along with current urgencies and opportunities. The first focus of the forum is called Tactical Solidarities. It looks at some previous and some new solidarity frameworks to offer possibilities for lasting and malleable forms. So this event is an offer of a few of those as well. I'm really happy to bring in several collectives and cooperatives from around Europe who've been doing emergency and structural work and who are thinking beyond triage, beyond only filling in the social gaps of the corporate state to enact mutual aid and to maintain strong communities. So we're joined by Afrikaanderwijk Cooperative in Rotterdam, the Basic Activist Kitchen and Solidarity Kitchen in Utrecht, the Emergency Volunteer Brigades Milan and further afield, and Homebaked Anfield in Liverpool. And I want to mention that all of these groups are working extremely hard right now and taking their time out of intensive labors to be here to discuss these strategies and urgencies and possible futures. So thanks a lot for that. A note on structure. We will start off by hearing from each of our guests for a few minutes and then begin a discussion amongst the groups, at which point we invite the audience to participate from whichever platform you are watching this event. Just feel free to comment and we will get to them. Another thing that I would ask is that if anyone out there in the audience would also like to share efforts in your own locale or network, please also place them in the comments. It's just nice to keep building and constellating these networks, especially with a kind of variety of kinds of platforms, a variety of local strategies, etc. And with that, I would like to introduce the first speakers. So the Emergency Volunteer Brigades in Milan is an autonomous initiative born to respond to the urgencies raised by the COVID-19 health crisis. They organize support from food deliveries to access to counseling to medical advice for those who are affected by the emergency through multiple volunteer groups. The brigades were born in Milan and are now active in multiple cities. And joining us today is Valerio, along with possibly Francois and maybe others who will come in. So Valerio, I'll ask you to take it away. Tell us what you're doing now, what this came out of, some strategies you're working from, and other things that you think are important.
Yeah, thank you everybody for this occasion to share what we are doing. It's a pleasure to spend some time with you, all of you. So basically we feel immediately that this emergency with, our state and our local institution was not at all able to manage the situation. All the decision from the state and institution was confused or wrong. So we immediately, as autonomous comrades and autonomous group, we immediately feel that we can be organized and we can, in first step, we can share a good help for population. We know very well that during a crisis, the last are more touched by the crisis, so we immediately think about poor people, homeless, migrants, and everybody that was abandoned by institution. So we say, stay at home is not enough. We need to organize a way, an intelligent and clever way to act. For one side, to keep safe ourselves and the people that we want to help, because this was the first step, and for the other, to develop a sort of credibility, and then allow us to make a sort of steps forward from the organization level that we usually have, not in emergency, in a normal way. So we build the brigade. We're starting from a coordination. We are these people that you can see here behind me. We are 10 people almost, and we decide to make a public call to all the organization. There are 3 different popular football teams that get involved in brigades. There are some territorial collectives, autonomous collectives, and 1 or 2 social center. And we spread this call and we say, let's meet and let's get organized to starting helping people. Effectively, as you told, we starting to buy things to the people, and briefly we switch to provide free food from people, because the food distribution and collection is the main now is now the main operation that we're doing. We are more than 300 people organized in nine brigade. Each one have the name of one called partisan, because we want to keep our identity. I mean, we know that we are volunteer, we make humanitarian action, but we want to keep our political identity. So we give to each brigade the name of a partisan, and yeah, we find this the NGO called Emergency, and we ask them medical formation and DPI, and they give us. And then together with this NGO, we ask to the city major, then they allow us to do that. And they was in panic, so they say, okay, please let's do, because there was nobody in the streets. We stay 15 days in the streets. When there was in the streets the brigades and the police, no one anymore. But police obviously can't help people, never.
Never.
Never know.
So now after 1 month, almost 2 months, there are many more organizations that are in the streets, but we still, I mean, we still having a huge organization that we never faced before, and that we never find before the way to get organized at the level that we reach at this moment.
Can you say a bit about the expansion that's happening right now?
Yeah, at the moment we have served more than like 5,000 persons in during these 2 months. We mobilize 14 tons of foods and other goods that we distribute free to the people. We have more than 400 people involved in the project, and every day there are a lot of people that want to be part of the brigades. So the brigades starting with 9, now they became 14 brigades, also in some districts outside of the major of the Milano. Yeah, we mobilize a lot of, I mean, we buy a part of food, we take another part of food from public donation. For example, we stay outside from the supermarket. We launch this campaign that is who can donate, who needs take. Very simple. We put the box outside from the supermarket, and a lot of people donate foods.
So from here, we'll go to the Basic Activist Kitchen and Solidarity Kitchen in Utrecht. The Basic Activist Kitchen is run by a group of Utrecht-based activists, artists, and researchers in collaboration with several local collectives. And recently, the Basic Activist Kitchen has begun collaborating with Solidarity Kitchen at Aku, Utrecht, to offer free meals to those who have become or remain food insecure during this crisis. And representing the kitchens today is Grace and Renee. So, take a
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, everybody. It's nice to be here, of course. And yeah, it's we just finished our dinner service. Today we serve around 60-70 meals, and yeah, with René and some other people, we already knew each other in the past. So when around 45 days ago, almost 50 days ago, René contacted me personally and other friends and say, hey, you want to join? We are going to start this project. We want to open up the kitchen for 7 days a week, and we want to provide meals to homeless people and undocumented people, and well, whoever is in need, and maybe deliver also to the people that are isolated at home or sick. We need some hands and well, some people that are able to cook in for big numbers, let's say from 50 to 100 meals a day. So some cooks are always handy for that. And then I say, yeah, why not? We have been doing that in the past in a smaller scales for eat cafes in here at Aku and also in squats. So yeah, of course, the emergency part just made it more, gave it a bit more pressure, but for us was something that, came pretty natural to do. And then, yeah, well, I joined together with the Activist Kitchen, the Solidarity Kitchen, but for the Solidarity Kitchen, maybe René can say something more because he was here from day zero.
Yeah, we started a Solidarity Kitchen with 3 separate groups that organize once a week a meal in Aku. It's a 100% volunteer-run venue in Utrecht. And we noticed that with all the measures that were taken by the government, that there's a big group of people who are completely ignored. You cannot tell a homeless person to stay at home. You cannot tell a homeless person that is depending on income by begging, by playing music on the street, that he can buy food anymore. And yeah, with these 3 groups, we decided that with the opportunities we have within Aku, we have a professional kitchen, we have a venue. So with all these possibilities joined together, we decided to start it. And then after that, contacting different people we knew already to support us in this. And we are at the moment completely run independently because we get a lot of donations financially, but also food and non-food like plates and stuff like that from people who are supporting our case. We also do recycled food and around 80, 90 meals a day on average.
On average.
Yeah.
And there's a nice structure because, of course, also safety matters were discussed here. Yeah. So yeah, it's organized. Every day there are for the dinner bit there are 3 teams. One team is the team that collect the food, the recycled food. One team that does the distribution downstairs at the door of the venue. And one team which is the cooking team. So we also make sure that the 3 teams work separately and everybody gets to choose with whom to work. So for example, I have my own team with 2 friends, which are also people I hang out or I've been hanging out since Corona started. And yeah, slowly we thought, okay, the basic activist kitchen was already a platform that, some solidarity, food, mutual aid strategies. And I thought, okay, can we join and how can we give a hand and provide maybe an extra service, what has not been done yet. Then we investigate possibility for delivering food also to shelters, but this was not really possible because many shelters don't allow us to bring our own food because there are some regulations that say you should they should cook it in their own kitchen.
It's Holland.
But of course, volunteers during COVID stay home, so their kitchens are closed. And then we thought, okay, maybe let's think of lunch. So at the moment, we open 2 days a week, Monday and Friday, the kitchen at the back. And we have different teams. We have 2 different teams that prepare simple lunch. Usually we have sandwich and fruit, or sandwich and juice, depends what's in the house. And it's going pretty good. Everybody's responding nicely, and I'm happy because with the donation, food-wise and financially, we can stay, we can stand by ourselves. Of course, now it's a bit uncertain time, so we don't know for how long this can go on. So the guys are working on a financial plan and see if we can, and we need to go on until June. Can we make it with the money we have? If we don't, there's gonna be a second call out for donation, and hopefully, well, unless it gets really hot and it's not gonna be possible to recycle food, because of course, to recycle food, well, if it's 30 degrees, it becomes pretty hard. But after 3 weeks of sun, it's raining again, so temperature went down, and skip will go up. So yeah, for now that's what we are doing. And
maybe for all the others in Holland, it's until the 20th of May that let's say restaurants, bars, and all these things are closed for sure. And we personally expect that it's going to take a lot longer before these things open up again.
So we are working now, thinking of 1st of June at least.
Yeah, maybe longer.
Maybe longer.
Thanks. So next up, we will hear from Homebaked. Homebaked is a cooperative bakery which grew alongside a sister organization, Homebaked Community Land Trust, which was initially an artwork by John van Heeswyck, commissioned by the Liverpool Biennial. The idea behind it was the reopening of a neighborhood bakery as a community business in the midst of a demolition zone as an act of creative resistance that could inspire a new direction in regenerating the area. Today, Homebaked is a business owned by over 200 members, and today from Homebaked is Angela McKay.
Yeah, hi everyone. Well, as we are a business, we had to shut. So we looked, before we shut, we spoke with the local church. Me and the vicar, we done a call out to other community groups in the area to see what we could all do together, coming together, how we could help one another. We're a little bit different because it is a business, so we've had to look at that side of it as well, as in, people's jobs. Would we survive being a business after this, as this pandemic, is over? So we shut the shop before we were told to. We done social distancing from the sides. We opened a window, which on a match day, with fans from travelling fans and Liverpool football fans, because we're right across from the stadium. We use that as our pie. We call it the pie hole. So we were able to open the business and do the social distancing from there. But it was really important for us to look at what we were going to be doing, because we get told all the time that we're in a deprived area, and we needed to be looking what we could do to reduce any risk to staff and our community. So we took the decision that we close before we were told to close, and looked at strategies then how we could support the other community groups that were working in the area, which was the food banks, which is organisations that were set up to help people who were low income, waiting for national health off benefits, people who, you know, were homeless could go. It's a scheme that's already set up. So we're at the moment, we're making 100 loaves a day to support the food banks. We donate food to the local church, bread to the local church because they do a soup kitchen on a Thursday. We do, what we're trying to do is trying to keep the business afloat, but not overwhelm the staff that are still having to work, because we have had to furlough. These are government aids. I don't know whether you have got it in your countries, that they pay 80% of the wages. So we've had to furlough some staff because we're not making the pies. We lost 3 matches, Liverpool football games, and that we sell over we make about £3,000 on each game, and that underpins us as a business, and that helps us then do the other part of the community business that we do. So what we've done now is looked at how we can get the pies out to people in a safe manner. So we're selling the pies online, but while we're selling them online, there's also a donation button, so people can still donate money, because usually if people were coming to the football game, they would bring dry food or tin food that would go to the food banks, because we were a drop-off point. So we're able to people are able to still donate, and then we're giving that to the food banks to help them buy more food, or they're buying fresh vegetables to go out with the food packs. So we're working in conjunction with fans supporting food banks. We're working with the NHS. We've had a lot of people donated and wanted to give to the nurses and doctors who are on the front line. So we're providing fresh bread. We've provided pies for them to take home to cook after a shift. We're doing what we usually do, because as a community business, that's what we've been doing anyway, linking in with other groups, supporting them, their initiatives. Regards to homelessness, we're really lucky in this city. Previously I worked at the Whitechapel Centre for 16 years, and with the Whitechapel and with other organisations and the City Council, we've been able to house near enough everyone that was classed as homeless now, and they're getting food bank vouchers, they're getting these food parcels, and they're able to cook in the accommodation that's being provided. So this is our 6th week of lockdown. It's still, it's still scary for everybody. And as a business, we had to think what we could do to just safeguard our staff as well, because they were scared coming into work. So with there's only 4 of us, 5 of us working out of 21 of us, and we're trying to keep it, we've been diverse, we've been making sandwiches and baking pies for a big cooperative, an Asda, a local shopping, you know, Walmart it is in America, and they bought off us sandwiches and pies for their staff to help with their morale, you know, the morale of the staff and make sure that staff were eating well. So that was a little bit of income for us, as well as us trying to help feed frontline staff in, you know, with nutritious food and good wholesome food. So that's where we're up to now. That's what we've been doing.
Thanks, Ange. And finally is Afrikaanderwijk Cooperative in Rotterdam. The cooperative links existing workplaces, shopkeepers, producers, social organizations with the Afrikaner market. The cooperative encourages sustainable local production, knowledge exchange, cultural development, and entrepreneurship based on shared responsibility and participation. And joining us from the Afrikaanderwijk is Judy Rambag, David Dansu, and Janneke Absu. Welcome.
Thank you. Hello, my name is Janneke Absu. I'm sitting here with my colleagues. Trying to social distance. We're working on it every day. I'm sitting here with my colleagues, a few of my colleagues actually, because of course we are cooperative, and we are, well, part of the cooperative are 50 local shopkeepers, but at the moment we also have over, I think, 60 employees working for this cooperative, but also for, we established the neighborhood cooperative, which is located in the Afrikaanderwijk in Rotterdam South, actually next to a big market square, which is closed at this moment. And we started the cooperative in 2013, so we're working for quite a long time in this area. And even before the corporation was established, there was a lot of work already being done from the organization in this area, and it's a relatively poor area, especially in Rotterdam. And actually the need for the cooperative to self-organize and to self-organize within a cooperative was really came from the urge to also make sure that the work was created within this area, that also the work was not outsourced to other parties in Rotterdam, and to also be that autonomous, steady partner in this neighborhood, to create these jobs, but also to, well, we're sitting here in the Gemaal op Zuid, which is a big building place next to the markets, and this building serves different functions. At one side, it's like the house, the place where we can organize from as a cooperative, as the organization, but it also has a professional kitchen. So the neighborhood kitchen is located here, which normally works here daily, providing catering. And we also, in the back of the building, we have like a sewing workshop, which also provides a lot of work. We rent out the space to commercial parties, but also for different activities, which we or self-organize or we collaborate with other parties in this neighborhood locally. But also we do a lot of knowledge exchange with schools or universities. And also we provide space for members such as David, who sits here with his foundation. He can explain a little bit more about that. And Judy will also tell a little bit more about the things we're doing now, because of course we're sitting here in the space. We keep on working, although it's, we have to find our ways, of course.
Yes, at this moment, few of our activities are still running. I mean, like we have kind of cleaning activities from people here in the neighborhood who are cleaning houses, little parks, also here in our community. That's still we have green. I don't know how to call it. People who are doing the plants in parks, and that's still running too. Next to that, we still want to help our local entrepreneurs, and most of them are closed now because this is a really poor area and really hard to connect with if you are not local. So we really are there for them, for local entrepreneurs, because we are also autonomous and we are all entrepreneurs too, working here together. And what we are doing is that we help them with the government financial support, how to fill in all the forms, because most of the people who are living here are not Dutch natives. So for them, it's really hard to understand what's the government's websites are about financial support. So we help them. We also created a website for the whole area where we are part of it. It's Feyenoord, and we made a website, feyenoordhelpt.nl, and it's more about that people can come here and ask for whatever they like, they need, like support for groceries or whatever. But the most what we want to do is help the locals here. And Janneke already mentioned, we are located across the market, and the market is a really heart of our community. And now it's closed. The market is also the place where you can buy food, really cheap groceries, vegetables and stuff, and now it's closed. So a lot of the people here don't have the money to go to supermarkets. And what we want to do is to create a mini market here in Het Gemaal, where we offer, or where we give the market people the opportunity to create product packages. So we can put it on our website and that they can order from the website, or we are flyer that they can order and they can pick it up here at Gemaal. So we want to try to support the local entrepreneurs, but also our community, that they can get the groceries for the prices they are used to, and not like have to go to really expensive supermarkets. Yeah, that's a bit what we are doing now at this moment for yes, I forgot. That's true, and also our community sewer studio made masks, and we donated it in our communities and to the entrepreneurs, so that they have some masks, because here in the Netherlands, it's really hard to get masks, so everybody is making them, so we did it also. So that's a bit what we are doing, and I think that David can tell.
Yes, also my name is David Onsu, and I'm a member of the cooperative. Why I came to the cooperative, because I always said my people are all Africans who are living here in Rotterdam, and everywhere in Europe, Western country, we Africans, we are minority. And when I came here to Jeanne and I exposed my plan to her, and she accepted me to have an office, take care for myself, helping me to approach the community. And during this Corona time now, it's difficult for Africans, undocumented Africans, and it's difficult because they are the backyard workers in the kitchens everywhere, cleaning everywhere. And now I saw that during our church service, because I'm a religion man also, we saw that those boys and girls doesn't have access to food because they don't work. And I came to Jan, I told her that we are going to start to help those boys and girls. And then from there also try to bring the undocumented groups to the official way to let them know that they are playing a big role. And we don't know what is happening when they are not living at a good condition, because some of them are living at living room with someone, and at the morning they went to work and they come back, and those people are getting to become homeless. And we are trying now with the cooperatives to help them, to bring them to the public institution. And also we have done a lot together here, because our community here are foreigners. At least 80% are Moroccans and Turkish people, and we Africans also. And the difficulties are there. And Jean and Cooperative, we are doing a lot of them now. And coming days, we are praying God to help us to help them also, and to see, because Corona is, we don't know how to qualify this Corona pandemic. The pandemic doesn't know any king or any president, anyone. If you are rich, you are poor. We are facing now the same consequences of how women behave are bringing us too far, because it's a big challenge. And the government, like our brothers from Milan says, they are only drinking coffee, putting their DAS and playing game. I'm calling them game makers. But the reality is now in front of us. And we, NGOs and civil society are doing our best. I would try. We are doing a lot, because when they came out of with decision, who are going to do the decision? Like we said, policemen cannot do that. A fireman cannot do that. And the civil society, like we are doing here, we are making them to know that we are the game player, not them. Thank you. And also we have problem because our workers here at the kitchen, they are volunteers. Now we don't have any activities, how to take care of them. And the cooperative is doing a lot of them. I'm getting my pay also, because no renting, no activity, but because of we take care of each other, we make it. Thank you.
Thanks. I have a question for all of you, and probably pretty different answers for all, but I'm curious how you do or don't work with like local government, whether the city or state, in this sort of emergency moment, while you're providing something, whether it's like coming from what you've already been doing or what you're providing now. I'm kind of curious how, since some of your work is filling in what's missing from what's being provided by the state or city, I'm wondering what that relationship is, if you're working completely outside of it, if you're relying in some way, or if they're relying on you, and your kind of analysis on that, because I know that each of you are composed in different ways, like as organizations, politically, etc. So that's my open question to start.
For us, we do not cooperate with City Council. We're completely independent. They know that we are here. We have contact with the local COP. In Holland, we have a system of local COPs that take care of the neighborhood. But we are completely independent from NGOs, City Council. We depend on skipped food and donations. and we are not planning to change that.
One part of that question is also like, are they relying on you? You know, like is the city now directing people to you? And so then what is also that, you know, like what does that mean if that's the case?
Not that I know of that they directly point them to us, but the official places for the homeless people, like night shelters and day centers, they do. We put our posters there. We put flyers down there that we are organizing this, and we cooperate as like next to us is a night shelter, and we bring food there, and we have good contact with them. But officially, no, we don't cooperate with city council.
But the answer to do they rely on you? Well, of course, officially we don't know, but I guess it's pretty obvious because otherwise we wouldn't have this increasing number of meals that go out every day. So this means that there's no other place or no other service provided by, I don't know, the municipality or other kind of institution. So yeah, of course, this could be a kind of a controversial point, do we want to do that because we are filling a gap left by the state? And of course, because we are different collectives, there are different ideas. Some people are a bit more pissed about this and be like, but we are like filling up this gap and shouldn't be like that. But then there's also people like me, and I guess also René, and we are like, we don't really care right now because we just want to do this without thinking too much about, do they rely on us? Are they using us? Will they make a statue for us? It doesn't really matter. Yeah, it would be great. It would definitely look good, but we just want to do this, but because like we said in the beginning, it's not something new. Now the numbers are just bigger, and there's people that maybe in the past wouldn't have come to our social dinners or eat cafes, but we have been always working with this kind of structure and following always this guideline of, solidarity and recycling food and volunteer based and, having your network steady and strong. And now we are just bringing it back out, but it's always there. It's not, we didn't create anything new. It's just, then for who we do this, we do it for the people that come and pick up the food. And also because objectively, let's be honest, it's for us in the teams, all the volunteer involved, it's a good opportunity to, to get out of your house and feel useful, especially for the one that cannot work because maybe you work in the music sector, or you work with food and then everything is closed, and you are like, okay, this is my social moment. And so I don't know, we didn't spend much time discussing about the conflicts with the gaps left behind. We just do it.
No, we just do it.
Yeah, about this question, we are discussing a lot each other between us. There are also different positions inside of the brigades of Milan, but we think that, our background is from autonomous group, autonomous movement. We every time was in conflict against municipality, municipal council, and so. But in this case, we feel that there's a big opportunity of verticalize our effort, also because these things start as autonomous action, but we realize that the number of people that really needs help is bigger and bigger. It's became bigger every day, and we realize that the official institution are not able to face the problem. So we decide to experiment this ambiguous, maybe. We know that there are some contradictions to be autonomous and antagonistic against the power of the state and the municipal council. But I want to explain what we are doing by an example. After 1 month of activity, the major asked us to distributing 300,000 DPI. So it's a number that we never can. We produce masks from the first day. We have produced something like 5,000, but we never can reach this number of. And this mask was given to the major by the Chinese community. So it's a present. They haven't buy the mask yet, and they was not able to distribute this mask to people in poor neighborhoods. So they ask us. We take 100,000 of them, and we spread door to door, door by door in all the popular neighborhoods. For us was for one side was a sort of ambiguity, because we go with this with the municipal helps, we do that. For the other side, for us was a big opportunity because we start to speak directly with the people, and we say we are not from the major, we are the comrades, we are the mutual aid group from self-organization, but it's so bigger what we do. I mean, it's for us in this moment, occupy the space that institution lets empty is a very big deal, and for us it's important to occupy the space. Also because we know that now is the phases of emergency. Now the first aim is to help people, but for us this type of help is very political, and we ask ourselves these questions: how we can politicize primary needs, how we can use this opportunity to reach thousands of people. We distribute this DPA, this mask, about 20,000 family houses, and we impose the condition to the major. We say we don't divide legal, official people that living in the houses from squatted house or migrant without ID and so, and we distribute to everybody. We know that the effect of this act is good because people have no mask, no money for buying mask. Here there was a horrible speculation about the price of the mask. They starting from €2, €3 from one chirurgical mask. It's like, and so we say, okay, for one side, we risk to get colonized by the major, by the municipality. From the other side, we have this opportunity to get in touch directly, giving our papers and our text, and also giving our contact, our number, we built some call center, and we spread this call center during the mask distribution. So people start to call us, and when they call us, we say we are not from the municipal autonomous group, and we are the real help that you can. I mean, we say we are the people that help the people, and people in the popular neighborhoods are very clever on this. They know very well that are totally abandoned by institutions. So they start to call us, and we think that this ambiguity, this contradiction is true. It exists, but we have to stay inside because in this way we have the opportunity to reach a number of people and places in the city that we never will be able to reach in autonomous way.
Yeah, I would say, like you say, it's now time to bring community together because the institutions are all that we are in the same boat or the same shape, and we have the same. We have chance to have what they have. And because of economy took place in our society, and we forgot the community society, bringing people together and to knowing people. It's now Corona who is giving us chance, our civil society organization, to let the governance to know why we are the providers of the economic system. And like you said, they cannot reach us easily because they have a lot of laws who are breaking the society to come together. And I will say that you are doing great job at Milan, at your place. We can say that here in the Netherlands, the facility are more easier than at your place. But we are thinking, yeah, I'm okay. I don't need anybody. But now it's time to bring everybody together and to build a coming nation. And I'm agree with you. It's what I can add to what the question says.
One more things. A lot of our comrades are coming from territorial committees, autonomous committees. We work on house eviction, on unemployment, on we make activity, sports activity with child inside of community, of neighborhoods. But the aim to build community, to rebuild community was an aim for us, a goal. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we reach this goal, sometimes not, because the rhythm of metropolis is very hard. So it's not every time easy to be present inside of a territory, of a neighborhood. In this occasion, we have the opportunity to have a map of our town and set a local place, a local central of community building. And so we say we have to do it, because doing that, we can increase our action. And when this emergency will end, maybe we can capitalize this action. So we have many more people disposed to help us to build community links.
Like Liverpool are doing with the football time, when they are making, this is what we are doing at Liverpool with football. And those are things who bring community together to knowing who is who. And because of capitalism, I'm always said that how are we going to share the common sense we are facing now? If one person or two persons destroy our planet, how about the 80% who are willing to march people together and build a nation? All the revolutions, before coming here, I was thinking, is it good to go back to history, to let our children, our generation know that we are just be normal people 60 years now after the Second World War? And another people or continent like China or like America is thinking always, no, I have something to do again to punish humanity. I'm not preaching, but it's what we are talking about. We just helping 10 people, 20 people, but now you are helping thousands of people. That's great. They should come back to you and learn from you.
That's the idea. Ange, I wanted to get your...
You know, it took us 8 years to become, for the community to understand who we are, to trust us, to understand it was our project and how it's become into a business, and how, you know, people come in they volunteer, they might have had, substance misuse, they might have mental health, but there's been a pathway in to be able to volunteer, to meet other people, make different social networks, and then get some training, get onto, get some skills that enable them to get further on into employment. Some of them have been able to be housed, and we've supported them into housing and accommodation. So for us, we're already in the community as like, not a beacon, but we're like a resistance. Like, we've had a lot of failed market renewal, we've got a big football club who was wanting to, expand. A couple of times their plans were changed. So, we were in a bit of a, the community that we had been split up by houses being demolished, houses being tinned up for a number of years. So the bakery, for where it started to where it is now, it's took a lot of time, and it's took a lot of patience, and people still sometimes are a bit, what is it about? The money that we make stays in the business. We have no owner. Any money that we make either gets ploughed back into making more jobs or buying equipment for us to be more efficient, to make better working conditions, pay better pay. And we put on activities, we let other community groups use the space. So we have poetry, we have art, we have a meeting space for people to be able to come and use that space to talk about ideas, other business opportunities, other community groups. So for them 8 years, it's took us that time. So at this moment, we're trying to keep the business going, but then we're also doing what we're already been doing in them 8 years, supporting them local initiatives of, food banks, working with Liverpool Homeless Football Club, Fan Support and Food Bank, Alchemist's Kitchen, Granby 4 Street, other projects in the city that were, that we tend to work well in Liverpool with other community groups, and everyone's been supportive of what we're trying to do in our area, but then we're trying to support other little initiatives that are going together. And regards to football, and where we are in the city, we've got 2 big clubs. We've got Liverpool, we've got Everton, and them 2 football teams of the Fan Support and Food Bank. They started, this collection every time anyone went to a match, to bring an item of food or money. And so we've been able to keep that going because they would have, we're just keeping it in people's minds. But then also, if you're still employed, or you're furloughed, you're getting some money, you're still able to help. People are volunteering at some of these projects, filling the bags, doing local drops. Liverpool Football Club will be working with me next week to deliver some of our pies. I feel like it's a two-way street with a lot of the organisations that we work with, because if we haven't, if we can give them anything, whether it's knowledge, whether it's the loans of a van, whether it's time, we've been doing that. We've been building that up for the last number of years. And so at this time, we're still doing what we're doing in our own way. We're not, but we're having to think about, and I'm not like dead business minded, and I'm not like, oh, this is all business, but 21 people are relying on us, and the community is relying on us to still have that bakery. We're fought to save that bakery not being knocked down and not be given to a commercial arm. So, you know, it's really important for myself. I live in the street facing, you know, put a lot of time in over the years. So, you know, we're making fresh bread for people that would be maybe who are getting it from the food banks, but they're getting a good quality loaf instead of a manufactured loaf, you know, with loads of additives in and things like that. So I just, you know, we're just trying to do, like everybody, everyone's doing their bit, and hopefully we're all linking in, and it's all for, you know, this COVID, it's highlighted loads of things here in Liverpool and across, you know, across the UK, of the indifference. You know, why should people be using food banks in the food place? We should have a better wage. So these food banks shouldn't even be in there, but they were there to, supposed to be a fallback back for people who were facing poverty and things like that. But it's not right, because you shouldn't be in there, and more of being getting made. So it's about what we can do to like fight it, you know, and say, actually, you know, this COVID's brought us a lot. You know, we've got a really good NHS. It's been underfunded for years, and it's about us saying, hang on, you know, this is really important to us, you know, and it's important for anyone going through that door that you don't have to have insurance, you don't have to be, if you need medical assistance, you get it, no matter what you know, whether you're in the country, you know, you've got papers to be here, or, you know, you're a resident, you should be entitled to medical aid. So, you know, there's still a lot that's going on, that's not right here in the UK. But in Liverpool, a lot of the people who are on the ground are already mobilised and have already been doing quite a lot to address some of the issues that have been highlighted by, you know, the rest of the groups, homelessness, you know, people, refugees, asylum seekers, these groups doing work. Some of them are getting backed by the city council, some aren't. But Liverpool's quite unique, because the people who are in power here also understand, you know, they do support quite a lot of projects to address some of these issues as well. Not as much, because their money's getting cut from central government, so they're having to reduce, and people are reliant on the goodwill of people helping one another. That, you know, that's something that's just brought up in you. You know, if you can do anyone a favour, if you can help anybody, that's just in you, that you should be doing. So I think, you know, when I look at some things, I think Liverpool itself, we're not doing too bad in trying to address and trying to help each other, help neighbours and different communities. You know, we're looking at doing bread for different other organisations, and it's not going to cost them anything, because we've got a bit of grant. There's a lot of grant available in the UK for projects as well, and it's like, we don't want to take loads of grants, because we have to jump through hoops to prove what you've done with that grant money as well. So it's like, we'll take what we need so we can do what we need to do for all these projects that we're already working with. So that's what we're doing. You know, we're financing some of this on our, you know, out of our own pocket as well, out of the profits, because any of the profits that we make, as I say, goes back into the business. Mm-hmm. And we're 90% trade. The business is 90% of what we trade as income, and we get 10% grant. And and that's from the Liverpool City Council. That's someone we employ. They pay their wages for 6 months, with the thing that we'll employ them after that 6 months. So so I feel quite proud really of what Liverpool communities are doing to address this COVID-19. You know, loads of manufacturing, loads of people are making masks for different groups. You know, the NHS, Fire Brigade. It's more the carers now, the carers out in the community that really are underfunded. People who are going to people, you know, are doing care for people who are isolated, who live at home. They're the ones that are really getting underfunded at the minute in the UK, as well as other, you know, other projects, homelessness and that. But as frontline workers, they're the ones that people are starting to realise that they need supporting. So that's it, really.
And I can also ask, that we had a conversation with Afrikaanderwijk a little bit before this event started, about you know, being thought of already as an NGO or some kind of like already working, you know, as a kind of nonprofit when it's not that, and so being treated like that, and sort of the difference of how you operate versus, you know, like how you operate versus how you're thought of, like that you're, you know, sort of expected just to provide. I don't know if you wanted to speak on that, like in terms of what Angela was saying. So.
Yeah. I start about our experience. The NGO Emergency is a leftist NGO. They used to act in a war country, and they build hospital. They're just medical. We feel that their supervision and their formation was necessary because they face apart this war situation like Iraq, Afghanistan, Syria, and so they face the Ebola epidemic in Sierra Leone. So we say, okay, we need to act, but it's not fire, it's not mud, it's not water, it's not something that we can face autonomous way. It's a virus. We don't know nothing about it. So for act, we have to, first of all, we have to need to be sure. I mean, to make that people that work with us doesn't contract the virus, and more important, doesn't spread the virus when we help people. So we go to the NGO and we ask to them medical supervision, and they start to make a lot of formation, live formation and Zoom formation with hundreds of people, and they say we want to make sure that who act inside of the brigade is not a spreading virus among the city. For us was necessary, but there was, and they are super collaboratives because they say we never act in Italy, we never act in social issues. So in this for example, popular neighborhoods, poor neighborhoods, they say we let to the brigades the sensibility to act. And we every day we make a brainstorming, and they are very receptive. They accept our critics. They accept that we are autonomous, that we are not from an NGO, and they don't want to absorb ourselves. They want to I mean, it's a very collaborative relationship. We also together we speak with the major. I mean, basically, they are the people and speaking with a municipal council because we don't speak with, but they make a good mediation between our autonomous needs and their institutional mission. So it's positive, in my opinion, but not every place can find a NGO such this one. Other country, other town also in Italy had some problem to find some organization that is made by comrades, and that is very, very clear the position.
I'll open it to anyone else. I also want to say now that anyone who wants to ask a question in the comments, please go ahead. And then also for the other attendees, panelists, if you have questions for each other, yeah, please go ahead as well. But I don't know if anyone wants to answer my previous question first. If not, I have another one. Which is, I guess I wanted to maybe continue with Valerio to ask you a little bit about, because you know you're from Milan, it's become part of this expanding network in Italy, and then now there are many brigades within this network around the world. I'm curious if you already have ideas of how that network operates, kind of between countries, or how it operates as kind of a more of a, whether it's a massive thing or just whether it's like Poles helping each other and being autonomous. If there are kind of either long-term or sort of greater structural ideas that you're working towards thinking of.
Yeah, in this day we are discussing about these two phases too, and we think that we're gonna move from generic support to COVID people to people touched by COVID, from sanitary crisis to medical crisis to we're gonna switch to social crisis, because here the situation in Italy is very hard. A lot of people lose their works. A lot of people have no income from 2 months, and they will not have for many months more. So we think that for the next 6 months, this activity of the brigade will be the main political activity. We are discussing now about which form we want to give to our structure. Also because there are many things common between.
What's happening in Holland, stuff like that.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry. No, I was talking to somebody else. Sorry, man. Sorry.
You can turn your mic off if you're.
Yeah, and we are discussing about which type of structure we need. Some of us propose to have our own legal organization to cover our action. Some other things that we have to keep to 2 levels. 1 level more institutional than like ONG, some NGO, something like this. And at the same time, we have to build our political links. For example, there's a lot of strike right now in Italy. The first people that want to strike, but they can't strike, is the medical person. I mean, the people that work inside of the hospital, not only the doctor, but also the nurse, first help, and so. And everybody have a money problem here. So we think that the next month will be very hard for political conflicts, and in the same time for social crisis, because the number of people that is not able to feed their family, to have house or foods, will be raised. Mm-hmm. Maybe the number, I hope that people touched by the virus will decrease, but we know that we want to face an economical crisis that we never faced before. So we are starting to prepare ourselves to face to have a structure that can stay active for at least 1 year. 6 months, 1 year is the period that we try to imagine. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
How do you want to prepare yourself for that period? I mean, how are your thoughts to go into?
We are starting to build food. Storage. Yeah, thank you. We build these places. Some of them are inside of squat. Some other is given by some association or some people that give to us. And now we're gonna pretend to fix and legalize these places as a permanent storage place. We are starting discussing to the idea of to collect more people, then give the availability for 6 months, not just for 1 month or less, but for 6 months. At the moment, there's 100 of people that want to to do that for a long time. And we really don't know what will happen, because here the political discussion, also officially, also institutional, the message that the president they give is very unclear. They say one things one day, another things the day after. Now they say they want to reopen, and the day after they say, yeah, we reopen, but probably will be another peak of COVID, so maybe we're not open. So it's a little bit early to define what we do in the next month. But what we want to say is that nervous war, so we have to keep our mind clear. We have to be lucid, because maybe things can change very fast. Maybe during health crisis, COVID crisis, we're gonna face more emergency. For example, weather questions or other emergency that can be added to the present situation. We have to face all of these, and food distribution must be something that we start to do as political action and praxis for a long time.
And are you also looking for collaboration abroad?
Sorry?
Are you also looking for collaboration abroad, like in other countries, like
when we start with this call, we say it's time to build our own brigades. It's an article that some American comrades wrote about brigades of Milan, and is a sort of call, Then it was spread in many languages, and we feel that this situation is similar. We have a lot of difference, but there are something similar around all the countries. I passed here a website. It's a network, international network, and I hope that all of you gonna join it. Just go on the site, and there are the way to build your own brigade, or just to put what are you doing inside of this site. It's just to have a complex overview.
And it's already it's several other European countries, right? It's I think in Belgium, in France, right, and then also in Germany also, and then in several other countries. Something. There's one in Quito. There's one building in the U.S., and it seems like it's just it's like metastasizing, expanding by the day, right?
Yeah, and I think that is something. I think that is sort of like very important. That although we do not know, how exactly this thing will evolve, what we do know is that there are multiple waves coming after that. People without work, people even becoming more housing insecure, food insecure, health problems, education distance, because although apparently we all can get it, it's actually highlighting on top of that the inequalities that are there, and it makes it more stronger. So I think it's absolutely super important to create very strong networks of all the efforts that are done now in different locales, and to join forces in order to also in the time after this be able to help each other out, but also give each other advice or to learn from each other's best practices. Because as Ange said, that Homebaked has taken 7 years to bring where it now is, a very solidary worker co-op that is like also rooted in a network in the neighborhood that support and make sure that there is a continuous, not only work created, but also affordable food. I think this is something that we all not only are in need of all these best practices, or even in Utrecht, Grace and everybody, what you've been doing, you also said we've been doing this already for a very long time. We only intensified it for now, and I think this is also for the Afrikaanderwijk cooperative, I think super important that for all these years we've been working on actually radicalizing the local by making sure we can create local jobs, we can vow for like our local shopkeepers, that we can create like possible work and opportunities for people in our area. And I think we need to even be more stronger tomorrow than we are today. We need to not only join forces, but also
like keep building this out, because we need those strong networks as safety nets. Because I think what we say here into one of your earlier questions is like, it's quite funny that we sometimes, because we are an autonomous run organization, that we get these phone calls now, like, can you pick up this or can you pick up that? Like if we already were sort of like a governmental supported organization. And I think like for us, it's very important to say like, yes, absolutely, we need to collaborate with all parties involved, but it's also important that we have to make sure that the work we are doing now is actually netted very strong in networks around the world, because I think we will need it.
You know, part of our business plans is that we buy local, we buy off local suppliers. You know, any money that comes in, it gets spent in like a 3-mile radius. So all our suppliers are near enough on our doorstep. So we had this, we've still been making pies, not as many as what we've had, but we've still been getting our meat off our butcher, our veg. So we're still, you know, we're trying to operate a business and not, you know, we're not wanting to flood the market with the pies and make loads of money. But what we're trying to do is, you know, we're making enough to just get by, but as well as to keep our, you know, the contracts we've got with the butcher, and that is still keeping them going, so that they've still got money going into their business, so they can pay their staff, that they can pay their rent. So, you know, people go, oh, you know, we've been trying to get your pies, we're only putting a small amount up each week, and they're saying, you know, you can't get your pies, but we don't want to be putting 2,000 pies on the internet, because then we couldn't deliver them anyway. But then it'd mean that the staff that were there would be working harder, and it's all them things as well as a business that we've had to think about and go, well, actually, it'd be crass, and it would be morally wrong to be making everybody come in to make more pies, because we can make more pies and make more money. So you know, at this time, because you know, all the takeaway venues in the UK, you know, have shut down, McDonald's has shut down. You know, a few local businesses who are doing takeout, and people say, you know, we'd buy off yous, but we didn't do that before. You know, we're a community bakery. We're open of a morning for bread and for people to come into the cafe, and we supply wholesale with the pies. So it's been dead hard for us to, you know, to react to people as well, what other people are telling us we should be doing, because we keep thinking, hang on, now we're keeping it as real as we can to just keep us going. You know, we'll just keep our heads above water at this time, without, you know, no offense, cashing in at this time, and at the cost of the staff, because the staff is our commodity as well. So, you know, we've got to make sure that our staff feel valued, that they're in good mental health, that they're not getting overwhelmed, that having to come into work at this time as well, for us to do what we class as our community bit of making the bread and helping, you know, different organisations in the area. So it's been quite daunting. It has, because loads of people want to volunteer, and people can volunteer, and then if they don't want to come in that day, but with the staff that's coming in, they've got to come in, and that's the difference. And it's been quite scary for them to come in. And as a manager, I've got to look and go, am I putting staff at risk? Are we doing this in a safe distance? Are we got the right PPE for them? So it has been, you know, we need a business afterwards for people to have jobs, and that's the main thing that's keeping us just, you know, taking day by day, each week, we change what we're doing to try and, you know, just keep going, so that we've got a business at the end of it, because we don't own the building, we're paying rent. You know, we've been given rent free for 3 months, but we haven't got a lot of money behind us as a business, so it is scary, you know, because we have got the responsibility, and we've got the responsibility to the community as well.
Yeah, can I add something about yeah, because of course I think I also overread something in the comments about, of course, different experience, because like Angela was saying, there's, you know, managing people that rely on your community work, and of course you gotta find the money to pay the staff that has a contract, or and of course for us that we do this completely, you know, as volunteers, it can create kind of a another controversial point, as in many things here in the Netherlands are run by volunteers. The volunteer work, it's, you know, it's massive. There's I would say part of what, you know, some jobs are, you know, they can go on, some venues or organization go on because of volunteer work. And I understand it could be like, yeah, it's easy, you know, to expect that people have their own job aside and find time for volunteer work to run things. And this can be good and bad, but my take lately is that I don't even know if I would call it volunteer work, because it's just you just do what feels good for you, you know, what you want to do, and then can call it volunteer and can say that volunteer work is exploited right now more than ever probably, but it's yeah, I wouldn't see any other way. Of course, ideally, I don't know if volunteer work should be retributed or not. I just think people should take more responsibility about their own communities, and therefore, yeah, an international network just makes you stronger. But to claim back your network in cities like Utrecht, where the, you know, the our network was pretty big and pretty strong, and then it went down. Right now you are reconnecting to that network. We know with old friends and old faces, but also new collectives and new groups.
Mm-hmm. Can you talk more about that, like this going down thing, and yeah, what that?
Well, that was, yeah, it's a very practical, you know, it's dates and numbers, you know, like years ago with the squatting ban, of course, there was all these social centers that have been, and squats that have been shut down. It reduced the space for us to meet and just do our things and our practices. They went less and less and less and less. And of course, this, if you don't have the space, structurally the space to meet together and to do things, then your practice, it's gonna, you know, be exponentially reduced or limited. So yeah, the only a bit, you know, selfish take on this, it's for me like, we can say for ourselves that we still exist and we still do, but it's also the political struggle is there. It's like, well, we need the spaces. We need to be able to have spaces where we can practice this out of our own choice. If we want to do it as volunteers, we need to do that, but we need to have the possibility to do that. So, well, we are pretty lucky now with Aku, and of course, yeah, because BAC offered the kitchen as a space with BAC. But for me, Aku is like, yeah, because we have Aku, we can still do that. But imagine 10 years ago, this happening, we would have had.
Aku is a legalized space in Utrecht, a legalized squat.
Yeah.
People who don't know.
Yeah. So, yeah, if this COVID-19 would have happened, I don't know, 10 years ago, then we would have been, you know, like probably 20 kitchens now, and not only for food, but to provide other kind of services, you know, like
building teams.
Building teams and anything. So that's something important right now for me. It's like, okay, we need to have the possibility to have these spaces. You know, what has been suppressed in these last 10 years, especially these last 10 years, it's still alive. It's really necessary. It's essential. It's not, we are not struggling for luxurious services here. It's like, you know, just,
This was this was a question that Valerio started touching on, but are any of you working in kinds of international configurations, or even just other cities or other towns, or thinking in terms of networks, or beginning to?
Actually, no. I try to keep in contact with international networks, but seeing the last couple of weeks, the amount of time that it takes to organize what we do here right now, I hardly know what's going around in Utrecht.
It's quite intense, especially for the, let's say, the core team that coordinates the space physically, no, and does communication. And because it's word of mouth, you are constantly talking to people or ringing bells, not physically ringing doorbells, but you know, like there's not. We didn't.
No, we didn't have, we had a structure, but not organized, you know, so to get people helping out, you first need to call them, and then you need to agree on how do you do it, all the practical thingies, and this costs a lot of time. And
but definitely, I guess, as long as we have this structure of the 7 days a week, we will just do what we do, and then of course, you know, like feeding the network outside of the city or outside of this country, it's a must. It's just now there's not much time to do that. That's why also to be here, talk also with Valerio and the other guys, it's good, but
inspiring.
It's inspiring, but there's 24 hours in a day, you know.
And you need sleep also.
Sometimes we sleep.
And I guess so. I want to also ask Afrikaanderwijk or Homebaked the same question, because you're both hyper local for the most part. But you know, do you also think in terms of these like alliances, you know, outside as well, or are you now?
Not now. We've been asked a number of times, would we be able to take what we do and set up in different areas? But because we're a volunteer board, you know, it's having the resources to be able to do that, having the time as well to be able to mentor, give people that support as well, and to find something that would work in different individual communities that would be addressing the local need. You know, what is them communities needing, and how can some of the experience that Homebaked have found, you know, what we've overcome, how do you go around, you know, we're maybe being a bit lucky because it was our project and it started with that, so there was grant available, and then people that got involved have got really good knowledge, and the thing is with them, they're very willing to share that knowledge as well. People have been really, you know, able to give to other community groups, you know, and so that they can learn from our mistakes, and, you know, even filling in grant forms, trying to get finances, as being able to point people in the right direction. And it's inspired other people to take the chance as well. You know, I know, you know, I've just said, you know, I'm proud of what we're doing here in Liverpool, but, you know, we know no more than in Milan, the repercussions of this is, we know people are we know we live in an area where food poverty is happening. We know fuel poverty. A lot of the people who are having to go to these food banks need internet access. So, we know that should be a right of people to have decent, good internet, for children homeschooling at this time. All what everybody spoke about, that's in our radar, that we know we're already dealing. These are all issues that have already been raised by living in an area that is deemed deprived. So, there's a lot of grassroots community groups, grassroots, just people addressing some of them issues already. And with the council, but there's a lot of goodwill going around that people are saying, hang on, regards to employment, there's going to be a lot of businesses that won't survive this. How are we're going to have to look as a collective of people how we can support each other. So going forward, we'd love to be able to give that experience, but we're still a business trying to survive and keep people employed. So, and we've got aspirations and visions going forward of what we'd like the bakery to be able to do, to be sustainable and to, really feel grounded in the community and what we can offer as well. So to give time and energy and all what we could package, it'd be great. But we haven't got the finances, we haven't got the resources yet. But all we can do is offer people that come and ask for any advice or guidance. We can tell them what our story's been. They can learn from, as I say, our achievements and our mistakes as well.
So thinking more in terms of making models rather than trying to expand or.
And we've done that with, we've supported a local laundress, a lady open laundress, Kitty's Laundress. That's a social enterprise business. These the Community Land Trust is supporting a microbrewery. So, we're giving people, as you say, Grace, the space that people need to be able to talk, to be able to say, just have ideas and have other people, a safe space sometimes, just a safe space. And we've provided in the community a safe space for people to just come and have a coffee, people to be able to just come and chat to someone, just with nothing in it other than just coming and having a nice coffee. We buy our coffee off another social enterprise. So trying to do all the good work, but trying to, keep the costs down as well, because we're in an area that we have a ceiling of what we can charge for the prices of our bread. We're not an artisan bakery, so we can't charge, we're not in an area that can afford artisan bread. We make we make really good bread, but there's a price that we can put on it. It's still handmade, it's not made mass produced, but it's about what the community wants as well. So that's where we are. Sorry, keeps tilting.
I think, like, to your question, I think here we have what we call a knowledge bank or a kennisbank, in which we sort of like bank all the experiences, all the things that we did well and all the mistakes that we make. And different organizations also from different parts of the world sometimes come and spend the day with us to talk about all these things, like how we grew as an organization, what were our challenges, how we actually work with alongside and against the local government in various various relationships. But if we think about the immediate future, I think we are already bracing ourselves for some of the work that is coming on a regular basis. On Wednesdays, we already have somebody here that people can come to talk about depth. So we have like a depth program, depth counseling program and advice program, and we will already imagining that will like sort of like will be more urgencies for that. Like I said, we worked with a lot of local shopkeepers around how to look at the measurements the government is providing, and then also figuring out that in order to get some support at the moment, you have to become hyper visible, because you have to fill in lots and lots and lots of forms in order to get something, and it's not always so self-evident that that you can fill out all these forms. And that doesn't even mean that you will be a person that doesn't have like papers to stay in the Netherlands, but it might be that your bank account number and your social security number and your business registration are not all aligned or something like that. And then you're already not in the system. So working alongside that, helping people to find ways to survive, and I think we need to do that more. And as Angie also just said, like providing a community car at the moment, so that people can do some of their shoppings or bring people somewhere. These kind of things we already have here, but we'll also understand that there will be much more work coming up over the next months, dealing with all of that, with food insecurity, with learning gaps among our young people, and so on and so on and so on.
And housing crisis.
And a housing crisis, and with that a debt crisis, and
Yeah, I imagine housing is a thing that touches all of you as groups. I mean, it's all of us, but especially thinking of, yeah, like just thinking a step back from how you're working now. There's this kind of haunting specter of the housing situation, right? And
and unemployment and direct food insecurity.
Yeah.
Plus, we've also, domestic violence, people being stuck in the houses together, children, being with parents that maybe they're not getting a break from, they're not getting, emotional support, all them are all things that we'll be looking to help support. If we don't open as a cafe, we're already linked in with someone who does debt advice. We've brought them in the past to help staff and volunteers. So, it might be that we're just going to look at where we can help, fit in. We know that we work with Liverpool Homeless Football Club, which is work with guys and girls that, are in accommodation, hostel accommodation, what will, if they've been stuck in, how are they, gonna re-enter, just feeling secure coming back out and engaging in education and training and that. So we'll be hopefully working with them. We're working with, other organisations down in the south of the city. With a lot of them have been buying the pies for the food bank to make sure that, when the food, all the food that's going out, the pies are really good quality pies that, people are getting a food that they can make a family meal with, to help with the food shortage and things like that. So these loads, but, we've been lucky in the UK because we've just had really good sunshine. But, there's going to be, we know these fuel poverty, people are going to be in the houses, the electric bills are going to go up because everyone's using the internet, people are on, are in the houses more. So the cost of everything's going up as well. And people always go to me, or in the past have said, well, homeless people have got mobile phones, but they might have mobile phones, but they mightn't have credit to be on the phones. So, it's things like that, that if people, we know that people are helping people address them issues, to keep in contact with family, to be able to get these vouchers, to be able to go and get food, to stay in a friend's house so that they're not sleeping on the streets. They're all things that we know that's happening in the city, and if we can, hopefully we'll be helping. We've done some of that help already, so we'll just keep on. I just think we're just a little clog, and we're just keeping. We all of us are all doing our little bit, and we're keeping that wheel turning and getting that support out to people. We're doing our bit by keeping going and pressing for change for the government. Our government's got a lot to answer for, anyway. So this is just like part of that, chipping away and making change happen. Making people, no one can bury their head now with half of these issues: homelessness, domestic violence, medical help. These are all issues that are already being there, but they've just really highlighted asylum seekers, refugees, stuff like this. It's already been there, but this COVID is just like, it's brought it to everyone's attention. As you have said, no one's safe from this. So all of us doing our bit, I think, is going to make for change.
You're doing so many different things and thinking about so many different things through this cooperative model. It's impressive to see. I have a question from one of the platforms, which was for everyone, and it's, can we hear about how to incentivize international networks to how to incentivize, how to really tackle the bigger issues around future economic models and world global shortages. So how can work like what all of you are doing be joined together? And any ideas on that? It's an open question.
Yeah, about the international network, it's not something that is already built. We spend years to build international networks, and now we exactly as we are doing during this call, and many more than we can do away. I mean, the important things is to share contact, to share experience, to share also limits that we find in our action, and maybe try to set the good questions and try to developing local answer that can become global answer. Mm-hmm. We can act locally, we have to think globally, this is clear. And in this moment we have as comrades, we have the opportunity to share a common ground. This is the pandemic. Mm-hmm. And also not only the pandemic about COVID, but also the capitalistic pandemic. The capitalistic condition of life they come to get unified by the same things, cutting to public health, private corporation inside of hospital and health, poor people let alone, abandoned to themselves. So from face of all of this, we have to make the effort to start building more connection as international. Maybe this site or many more can be a tools to help this.
Does anyone else want to jump in on that question? Shall I?
I just feel lucky that we've met Jana and I've met Grace at Utrecht, because we've been doing some of this work. Jana had set up about good practice, about housing and that. So we'd made some connection, and it's Grace, and I feel lucky that we've been able to carry it on as well, and hopefully carry it on in the future as well.
Yeah, I think, of course, also like Valerio is saying, like starting from sharing experience doesn't matter. It has to be digitally now, also because I really believe that acting locally is a key word, because all this moving around, and yeah, it can be beautiful and really inspiring, but you really need to know where you are in your local community. Doesn't matter if it's not your own country, but that's where you start, and then the rest it's about sharing and trying to be loud when possible, and also maybe for some groups that are a bit more not radical, but that has been radicalized, more open up to collaboration, like eventually finding NGOs or organizations that can mediate with municipalities. If you are acting locally, that's it's gonna be necessary, and not because I personally believe in talking will make it better. Believe in doing will make it better. But you gotta learn how to move in your own community, and this you do it by getting to know the people, but also getting to talk sometimes with people that hold, the one that believe they are the game players. So this is something that we need to find our own little compromises, or just open up a bit more, and all this not hiding, claiming more and more, louder and louder.
Yeah, I'm not a techno-positivist, but I think there's something to be understood, or like made use of in the fact that, and this has been discussed by other people, in the fact that we're right now everything is hyper local, that we're conditioned by that because of closed borders and inability to move, and then also that we're hyper online. And so like these two things are like that, these are what it's dictating life right now for most people. And so what is that? What kind of new, what opportunities does that provide? What kind of new problems does that provide? I think it's a question that we all have to kind of build from, maybe, right?
It's just stepping back from the over globalized idea that we can be everywhere any moment, and then you really lose contact with your local structure, and that's the biggest drama, and that's what many people forget. And that's why I think it's because we are resilient and we resist and keep on existing. But how many people wouldn't know who to refer to? It's not like Angela, they have an incredible network already going on for years, and Valerio, it's working in us, let's say, in a background like in Italy, that it's still pretty active and strong, but it's not everywhere the same, so you really, really, really have to invest in your local situation, in your own local infrastructure and networks. That's the only thing we have to do now. That's it. And I believe there's so many way we can help and come up with ideas, but of course one person or one group can't do it all, so everybody's gonna focus on their own skills. And now we do 7 days a week food, and it's food, but or there's way more skills and skilled people.
Look at us now. We are sitting here with 4 different groups doing all different things. And I think from the same base as that we want to help our local community and help people around us.
So we have to wrap up. I wanted to just check if there are any last thoughts from anyone before we sign off for this time.
To add something to what my colleague or Utrecht said, the framework, the tactical framework, is it waiting for a disaster before coming together? Mm-hmm. Or are we willing to join our efforts now globally, not locally, to let our leaders know, because somebody somewhere leading these efforts, and we have facing different type of disease, not only COVID-19. But to me, this initiative is important. I have participated a lot of initiative in Germany, in France, because I'm an international man. But it's one thing, the local governances are not free from the central government. And now is opportunity for us, I think, that our framework are going to build new life, new aspect of who I am, and what I can do for my neighborhood, and then outside my neighborhood is what I think. We are not going to focus only on disaster before acting.
Yeah.
Questions and
Yeah.
idea I want to discuss of develop with this group.
Okay, that's a super important point to jump off from, to not wait.
Yeah.
If it's also a good point to end on, unless there's any last pressing things. I'll take this moment to say thank you so much Angela in Liverpool, Grace and Renee in Utrecht,
Yay.
and David, Judy, and Janneke and Jana in Rotterdam. And signing off here also from Utrecht. Thank you so much, and hopefully we can all talk again soon, where we have to. It's important. So,
Yeah.
So see you all soon, and thanks for all of you out there for listening. And yeah, let's do this again. Take care.
Thank you.
Stay
everybody.
safe.
Thank you, guys. It was a big
Good
pleasure.
work.
Yeah, we're
Keep
gonna
up the good work.
still on this.
Yeah. Okay.
And check out all these groups. They're all lookupable from the Buck site. Thank you.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.